got Lisa joining us. She's probably one of the people who's had the most exposure to the funky diamond and how it works. And yeah, she's just here to share how it's actually helped with our kids. And yeah, and then I'm going to round off with how we actually applied it to Heinrich and his challenges. So beautiful.
Yes, I come in as a mother, but looking at my three absolutely different children, the first one is 23 years old, very intelligent child. He knew how to perform academically, but he hated the system. So we took him out of the system and he homeschooled high school, aced all the very academically difficult subjects, but I think he would have preferred something else. Then I had my daughter, she's 20. She is always tested, highly intelligent, but school doesn't make sense for her being at all. So she suffered academically, suffered in school, didn't like it. I was always looking for a better option, didn't know a better option. I'm an academic, or I was. I think I'm much more free-flowing now. And yeah, looking back, I think I wasted a lot of her time. But how I can say that the diamond worked for her, or the processing model of what Christo is doing and how he wrote all the curriculum up to now, is that she wasn't performing, especially in assignments. And by matric, I told her, if you don't go and ask for help, you're going to fail matric. And her assignments was hanging in the 20%ish somewhere. And yeah, very stubborn child. But at last she decided she'll ask Christo. He said, I'm not doing your assignment for you. She said, I don't want you to do my assignment. So when he sat down for half an hour, spoke through the assignment, where do you begin? What do you do? How do you process the information? And off she went and she did her assignment, and started getting 70s, 80s pluses, just to know how to process this information. Yeah, looking back, I think it's a lot of learning through her. I think I wasted a lot of her time and energy, and probably she was traumatized, I think, by schooling systems. But anyway, but that's part of life. And then we had Heinrich 6 years ago. Heinrich has Down syndrome, and one of the first things Christo said to me when we got the final diagnosis was that, yay, my child is free from curriculum, and he's a curriculum writer. So yeah, we had to approach it differently. We had to figure out what will make this child tick. What is he like? How are we going to approach learning for him? And Christo can tell the story about that, because he's the one who mastered the process of
okay, so yeah. By age 2, okay, in Down syndrome, the milestones are a whole lot different than neurotypicals, but we still have to be able to do certain things. And by 2, we realized Heinrich's comprehension is 100%, but he can't verbally communicate back. So you'd actually start expecting things like mama, papa, horse, car, and Heinrich just basically lost all his words. He just didn't have any words. He'd say a word and then he'd forget it. And so we'd heard about sign language, and so yeah, we defined the task is not so much we have to communicate to him, but he's got to communicate to us, because he's got wants and he's got needs, and as parents we need to know what's his story.
Yeah, I just to jump in, Heinrich understands everything, so he has the vocabulary. He understands my Afrikaans and Christo's English, but he had no clue how to express that, what his story is in his mind. So yeah.
Okay, so our task definition was very simple: help this kid communicate. And so we went, we looked at we tried to build a game plan, and the plan was where do we find sign language? He's too young to write on paper. So then we developed the plan by Googling baby sign, and up popped a whole world of sign language for kids. And then we had to just figure out how to learn the language ourselves. So if you find a new word, or we're driving on the street and there's a horse, then we looked up horse, and then we showed Heinrich, this is a horse. And this got fun because then we didn't know that there's a differentiation between horse and donkey. So now he's using donkey for horse, and a rooster and a chicken. But basically this is how the diamond works, because from there we implemented, and now he can talk to us, and then we can assess, are we understanding immediately? And on reflection, we can start finding the nuance between horses and donkeys, chickens and roosters. And so we grow and we learn lessons. And yeah, Heinrich's going to have to communicate for, I don't know, maybe a considerable period of time doing this. So that's character of just getting down and doing it. And it's a process cycle of achieving communication between a father, a son, a mother and her son. And through that, we can actually get the love going. But now at age 6, Heinrich's smart enough to actually have figured out his own signs. It's like we've got Beauty and the Beast is there, and that's training a dragon. How to train a dragon is communication is there, and Lion King is there. And the thing is, where it really gets beautiful now is that Heinrich is always connection orientated. Because in Down syndrome, if you ever speak to any DS parent, it's all about the love and the connection. And the fact that we can communicate, and he can voice and express his joy and his sighs and his tears, we can actually help him reach those joys and sighs and tears.
Yeah. So on a very practical level, how do we plan kind of a lesson? You know, how do we go about and how's the process? So for instance, when we came down to the beach the first time after we started the sign language, is we anticipated, you know, we had this vision of him communicating what did he see today. So we would plan and go and find the language for rock and rock pool and wave and sand and
airplane.
Airplane,
and there's some cars on the road, and
yeah, so you plan a life lesson by anticipating. But then when you get to the beach, you realize, oh, I forgot about shells. I forgot about the starfish, and I forgot about. So then you have to go back and reflect if you can.
Yes.
Yeah, the process and reflect.
And let's put it this way: learning in life is 100% adaptable. If we planned to go to the beach, but we ended up in a mall because it was raining, or we ended up on a horse farm, the thing is, you must be able to adjust your lesson. The goals are still the same, which is actually communication between father and son. That's the goal here. Or Heinrich and his mother with Maria Luisa, that's the goal. But how you get to that goal, the problem with the school system is that they want that goal to be reached in exactly the same system for every single kid. But let's put it this way, broccoli is good for one kid and pizza is good for another. But they both feed the child. Nutritionally wise, I wouldn't say the pizza is as good as the broccoli. But then yeah, some people are allergic to broccoli, which is funny, or they're sensitive to stuff in it. But that's not the point. The point is, we've got to get to a point of education, learning, improvement. And that's the life lesson for life. And that's where the diamond actually pulls the whole thing into a system that's fully adaptable. So it's not a system, it's a process. And that can change the world. With that,
Thank you.
blessings for the day.